Good evening, everybody. Welcome aboard US Airways Express flight number 4093, nonstop service over to the LaGuardia Airport in New York City. We'll be departing from here in Manchester, New Hampshire. Should be a quick 50-minute flight today at an altitude of flight level 240 over 24,000 feet. We'll be on board this Saab 340 operated by Mesaba. The date is November 15th, 2011. A little bit of a throwback today, and I know this specific tail number, 350 Zulu, was never a Mesaba plane. Taking a little bit of creative liberty here because this route was operated by Mesaba in November of 2011 on behalf of US Airways Express in the Saab 340. We're gonna take a little bit of liberty here and say that 35 Sierra Zulu was briefly operated by Mesaba or something. Someone did something stupid at some point. Some planes got mixed around and now it's flying for Mesaba on this route. Obviously, this is not Microsoft Flight Simulator. I'm going to talk about that when we get in the air and why I'm not doing that today and for the foreseeable future for the time being. But don't click off just yet. I think you are going to end up enjoying this video anyways. With that out of the way, it is 3 p.m. Should have a nice evening flight to LaGuardia. And we're going to be actually doing a second flight from there over to Ithaca, New York. And actually this part 2 is going to be a night flight. So that'll be fun. For now, passengers are getting boarded here at 3 p.m. I got the airplane powered up. Just going to go through my briefing real quick with you guys. This will just take 30 seconds. I forgot to place this fuel order. We need to get 2,500 pounds, 2,550 pounds of fuel, 51 minutes en route. I'm going to show you guys something in a second. We'll skip down a little bit. There's our routing for those who care. It's going to be the departing Manchester, runway 35 direct Keene, Tango 295 Sasha, direct Pauline, Victor 405 to Cash, and then the Nabi 5 and the LaGuardia's runway 31. 22 passengers aboard today. True 40 on the cruise. I've already read this. I'm just glancing over it for you. Winds are a little bit gusty. It's like 20 knots out of the north-northwest. Not a big deal. No NOTAMs that apply to us. I already went through them. We look fine. We have Philly as our alternate. I don't think that's even going to happen. What I do want to show you guys is our route in here. It is actually going to keep us a little bit to the north, funny enough. I'm planning on taking an RNAV here into LaGuardia's runway 31, the RNAV Yankee. Show you guys what that looks like in cruise, but that's really all there is for briefing this flight. Nothing too crazy. I'm going to go place that fuel order, make sure our passengers are strapped in, ready to go, and I'll see you guys here in just 10 seconds. Now, something I absolutely love about this plane is that we actually have the ability to walk around and do a thorough pre-flight. Now, we're going to say, for simulation's sake, that first officer out here is doing the actual complete pre-flight. I'm sorry, I'm not looking through every little nook and cranny of this plane right now. But we'll just say, look, the chocks are in, the cones are in. The chocks will pull right as we're about to hop in here in 1 minute. The cones we're going to pull when we're ready to push back. And just to show you guys a little bit here, sorry, one of the arrow keys is broken on my keyboard, so we're just going to go like this and make it work. But yeah, just to show you guys, if you really want, the GPU's hooked up, but if you really want, you can go through and say, alright, we've got enough fuel, we've got the engine covers removed, the pins removed, inspect all of these propeller blades individually. I actually don't know. Would they actually like pull these props through and inspect each blade individually before every flight? I've never flown a large turboprop. I've never flown a turboprop in real life. I've flown pistons a lot, but not the turbines yet. And yes, you can sort of walk up these stairs. You kind of gotta play pretend there, but walk out, look around, say goodbye world. Or goodbye Manchester. Really, I think we'll still be alive after this flight. It should be. I'm not that bad of a pilot. You can walk around the cabin. I already turned the lights on. We'll say everybody's getting on board just fine. You can play with the reading lights up here. Look, reading light on, reading light off. You can press the attend button. You can mess with the window shades. I love this plane, honestly. But with that out of the way, that's not what you're interested in. You're probably more interested in this cockpit here. So let's go sit down and run through our checklist because I already got the plane fired up. This is not a tutorial on how to fly this thing. I'm just going to actually go ahead and turn my GPS on first. I'll punch in my waypoints just because this is going to take a few minutes, and I'll see you guys in a minute. Alright, the first officer is back from his pre-flight. Everything looks good. Flight attendants say they're just about wrapped up the boarding process here. Our fuel's on board. We just double-checked here. I got our route loaded in. We did have a slight reroute. Instead of taking... Here, I'll show you real quick. Instead of taking the instead of taking the Tango 295 past Chester all the way to Pauline, and then Victor 405 to Cache, we are actually just going to use the Chester transition. That'll take us straight to Pauline. It's on the Navi 5 arrival, and I think it'll make our life a little easier. Yeah, I'm using an outdated air rack cycle, which is probably why everything's a little fucked up here, but now that we got that taken care of, departure briefing, we are going to be taking runway 35 out of Manchester. That should give me 9,200 feet of runway. That is a decent amount. If anything happens on the takeoff roll, we close the throttle, bring it into reverse. If it's not an engine failure, we'll bring it into reverse. Otherwise, we're going to close the throttle, apply hard braking, and bring it to a stop. If anything happens, after we take off, we are going to just deal with the issue in the air, pitch for about 150, and we'll just make a left turn for a visual approach runway 35 back into Manchester. I need to review my takeoff minimums. That's what I forgot to do here. So departure, we just got to review our takeoff minimums because we aren't flying a published SID. Departure procedure for 35 is a heading of 352 up until 1,300 feet, then proceed on course. So we'll climb all the way up to 24,000 feet, flight level 240. There's no altitude restrictions, so we should be good there. And really, once we get in the air, we'll start briefing that arrival into LaGuardia. It should only be about a 50-minute flight today. I'll go punch my heading indicator in. It should be 3. Oh, it's literally right next to where it already is because it started on northbound. 352. I believe it does actually tell you somewhere what you're setting your heading indicator to, right? Oh no, I'm thinking of the plane I was flying earlier today. That's okay. You can see 352 is about right there, so that's good. I'm just going to punch heading already on, verify nav source set to GPS, and we'll set this to climb. I like the 160 climb in this airplane unless we have to do something else. Anyways, our ATIS, just to get the weather real quick before we get out of here, 2966 on the altimeter, which explains why this is so high. 2966, and it looks like a field elevation of 266 feet. That matches pretty well, so that's good. It needs to be plus or minus 75, and that's actually just about right on, so perfect. Winds are 320 at 13, gusting 15, so ever slight crosswind from the left. It's really not bad at all, though. Gusting to 25, so a little bit windy there. Awesome. We take it 35, our departure procedure up to 1,300, then left turn on course. There you go. The chocks should be pulled now, which they are. All right, now all I got to do is just go ahead and bring these stairs up. Now that we got the go-ahead, put the stairs away like this once the animation stops. The actual door itself, the hitbox should be... No, it's not there. Oh, there it is. Get this to close. And everything is now secure. Give the flight attendant somewhere to sit. And I guess now all we gotta do is just turn these lights off. We'll keep the reading lights on, but make sure these interior lights are dimmed for departure. Alright guys, enjoy your flight. I'll see you guys in the cockpit. I'm not going to see them in the cockpit. I'm going to lock myself in here like a socially awkward pleb. Alright, now that the door is closed, we'll go ahead and turn that seatbelt sign on. I'm actually going to pre-plan my pushback real quick. I almost forgot to do that. Actually, you know what? Let's run through a checklist first and then tell them what we want. Checklists are going to be the before start checklist. Batteries verified or on, external power checked. Bleed valves, we just need to verify their reset to auto, which they are. Oxygen we already checked. Circuit breakers all checked. Flight recorder I already sent to that 4093, flight 4093. Cabin signs verified are all on. Engine, instruments, and ignition. Verify the ignition up here is set to normal. And the instruments down here are where they're supposed to be. Fuel quantity down here. There it is. That looks good. Hydraulics just need to be checked and in the green, which they are. Cabin pressure looks good to me. We're going to leave it set to auto. The power and condition levers, fuel shut off, ground idle. Trims, for the trims, literally all you got to do is press pitch reset, and that'll do the job pretty well. I notice I'm having to trim just a little bit as I rotate. Not a huge deal. Takeoff bugs. I am still learning this airplane, I have to admit. I don't actually know what the best V speeds are going to be in this airplane. I've noticed around 120 seems to work fine. That's what we're going to do. If somebody who's a little bit more experienced with this plane or has access to proper documentation for it, maybe there is documentation that came with this. I bought this thing like 6 years ago, so I don't remember. But if somebody has more insight than me, please give me a shout and let me know what the better way to fly this plane is. Anyways, with that out of the way, beacon's going to come on. Doors we already got closed. We are good to start. I'm going to go ahead and tell them that what kind of pushback I want. Then what we're going to do is we are going to actually fire up number 1 first, get ourselves on that left generator, then disconnect the power cart, start our pushback. Once they stop pushing us back, we'll go ahead and get that right engine fired up. I'll be back with you guys in just 10 seconds here. Alright, we just told them that we're starting up now, so we're going to go ahead, and they pulled our cones. Going to go up here now. Everything's set up over here. Beacon light is on. I'm going to bring the engine number 1 to the start position. Then all you got to do is flip this switch to start. You look down here, you double check that the engine RPMs are rising, temperature is rising. Watch that for a hot start. Torque slowly starting to rise, and that capped out there at the 720 range. And it looks like everything else is coming to life just fine, no problem. Awesome possum. In a second, the starter will disengage. Power will come back to the airplane. There it is. And that engine is going to take 1 minute just to stabilize itself. As soon as it has, we are going to go ahead, and there you can see the temps finally coming down. Everything's looking good. Temperatures, pressure in the green. I'm going to go ahead and let them know that actually first I'm going to go ahead and bring my generator over to this left side. It takes about a minute to warm up. And once that happens, we'll go ahead and get the pushback. There you go. Usually you just have to flip off that external power and then it does its thing. So now we're connected. I'm going to go ahead. We're connected. Let me rephrase. We're being powered by our generator. So we're completely just onboard power. We can disconnect that power cart and go ahead and tell them we want to start that pushback.
Great news, Captain. Your toes.
That's the best news I've heard all day. Thank you, bud. Bring the conditioning levers to start there. I'm going to go switch this start to right, and it's going to be the exact same process as last time. Just watch that guy fire up. RPMs are looking good. Watch that temp though. There you go, 765. There's our signal. We're good to go. And just got to wait for the starter to disengage. Everything's looking good so far. There you go. There you go, that's going to be 2 stable engines right there. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that this generator is at least reset. It might take another minute for it to come online, but that's okay. And yeah, you can see it's good. We'll just leave it there. We know the left generator is working that way in a minute as we go through this checklist. That should be good. Press OK here, make sure this is set, and it looks like, yeah, we're direct keying, so our flight plan's still in. Go run through a couple checklists real quick. The after start checklist, auto portion up here needs to come on. Bus ties, just need to check them, verify they look good. And yep, you can see that generator is now on. External power off, generators checked. The AC up here, we're going to reset those bleed valves. We're going to flip those recirc fans on. Oop, if I cannot pull the fire alarm, that would be good. And maybe set that a little bit warmer. It's a little bit chilly out, not horrible. It's actually like 50 today. Nursery lights armed, the fuel used I already checked was set. going to bring these guys to max. It'll take a minute for those engines to stabilize anyways. You can see those temps are going to go crazy, then they're going to go back down to nothing, and they're going to kind of take a minute to figure out their life story. As protection, I'm just going to put the standby PO heat on. Everything else, that's not what I meant to do. Everything else looks good. Oh, the rest of the overhead panel, if I go up here, just really looking to make sure that everything looks fine. No lights or anything like that. The EFIS looks good, just let the parking brakes on, the clear signal's already received. Great. Temperature set 29 or 66. Flaps are going to be set 1 for departure. We're not too heavy, so just 1 notch of flaps should be good. Do a quick flight control check. Left, right, back, forward, left rudder, right rudder. Flight instruments, just double check. We've got head in, and I'd like for this to be on an IAS mode, please. Oh, sorry, climb mode, not IAS. At 160 is what I'd like. Awesome. Tests, we'll say, are good. CTOT, I've been using 90 so far. I like that. We're going to use 90. This is just going to limit our engine power as we take off, which I'm fine with. Briefing's already complete. We're going to be taxiing to runway 35, and it'll be a left-hand turn out after we pass 1,300 feet. Awesome. You'll notice right now I've got these levers just here at ground idle, and it does roll a decent amount on its own. If I push it just barely out of ground idle, it's going to seem like barely any change in power, but it's going to start to go pretty fast. So I'm just going to leave these in ground idle for now. And I think that is going to be plenty on this taxi speed. So it looks like just Golf to Echo to Alpha should be fine for us today. So this is interesting. It's saying I'm on Papa and that's Alpha. Very interesting. My diagram in front of me doesn't really show that. It's showing just Alpha to Alpha 2 and Alpha 1. I don't even think I have a uniform being shown down here, but I can tell 35 goes that way, so yeah, that's definitely runway 35. I guess we'll just loop around the whole place, why not? Anyways, one more time, departure briefing. Anything goes wrong, we close the throttle, apply hard brake, and bring it to a stop after we take off. If anything is wrong, climb out at like that 150 point and make a visual back for runway 35. Otherwise, continue to fly straight out until 1300, then a left-hand turn on course direct key. Real quick, just to go over some checklist items. Number 1, flight attendants, please proceed for departure. We'll say that was a PA announcement or something. In fact, actually, we'll just stop here for 1 second just so I know I got everything set up. External lights, we're going to go ahead and flip all on, strobes, everything. Taxi light, I'm going to keep on, I don't care. Takeoff signal, we say we've received. Air conditioning, verified, is already set up. Bleeds, restart valves, everything good. Flight controls, one more time, free and correct. The CWP, only just that the park brakes on, takeoff inhibit, we're going to press. Alright, that's the takeoff checklist. We'll go let them know we're ready for departure. Alright, we are clear for takeoff. Once again, parking brakes off, takeoff inhibit's been pressed. The lights are all on, final is clear. And the runway, verified, is clear. Might just take 1 minute for us to physically get to the point where we're actually lined up. Now, this airplane I've noticed with the throttles is a little bit finicky. You got to be very careful because if you bump it just a nudge over where it engages that power limiter, the thrust limiter, I guess is whatever you want to call it. If you bump it up just a little bit before that, it goes crazy and enters like 120% throttle. So you just got to be nice and gentle with it. We'll get ourselves lined up here. Funny the approach lights are right. I don't know if that's correct, but okay. We'll go ahead and get lined up. Everything's good. We are on runway 35. I'm going to go ahead and start to gradually increase that power. Just nice and easy. Let the throttle settle at each point along the way. And a little bit more. There you go, auto coercion, engine temps. This is what I mean. That's a little bit too much on the engine power. Okay, we're gonna have to leave it at that. Airspeed is alive. Okay, it's settled, great. 60 knots. 80 knots. Woo, nice and easy on those rudders. There's 100. I'll start that back pressure. Right around now. Hold that, please. There you go. You just got to give it a second for those engines to chill out, it seems. Alright. Positive rate of climb. The landing gear will now come up. And let me just retrim this bad boy out. Come on. There you go. Who's a good airplane? There you go. Now it's trimmed out. We've got head-in mode on. It's in climb mode. I'm just going to go ahead and right around now try to engage that autopilot. There you go. You got to hold it down for a second, and you can see it's climbing out as it should, and it's correcting its altitude. Perfect. Great. Taxi light is going to come off. Engine instruments are in the green at that 90% that I set it at. There's that 1300 point. So all I got to do now is say flight plan, direct to keen, enter nav mode, and the plane should start banking out on its own. Beautiful. Alright, as we are climbing, we can go ahead and, well, let me let this plane settle first, and then we'll go through our checklist. But it looks like the temps and pressure are both in the green. The plane is climbing out of that 160 point. We should probably bring that one notch of flaps out. There we go, that's a lot nicer. And, well, it seems the plane settled itself just fine. Let's go ahead and run through that checklist. That's not a checklist, that's a checklist. Climb checklist, gear is up, flaps verified are fully retracted. Ice protection is set. Of course, we're going to go up here and turn that all off. The external lights are set. Cabin signs are going to remain on until we're above 10,000 feet, and if there's no turbulence, it's a little bumpy out here, as you can see. Takeoff inhibit needs to be verified out. Cabin pressure verified. If I look at that, yep, we got a pressure difference. Cabin altitude will stay at 0 for the time being. It'll start to rise as we get higher. Prop sync over here needs to be turned on, and those C-tops are both going to come off. Now be ready when you do this. The power is going to go down a little bit. So you just got to kind of manage that a little bit. So come on, I want to keep you at like that 95% point. I think this will work out pretty well. C-tops off, altimeters will be set standard upon passing 18,000. That'll be that climb checklist complete. Pretty nice clear day over Manchester. And we are en route just 50 minutes out from LaGuardia. Looks like we are just about to pass that 10,000 point right there. Landing lights are going to come off, wing lights will come off. Keep the seatbelt on for just a few more minutes, just because it's still a tiny bit bumpy. Once I see a few minutes of consistently smooth air, we'll go ahead and turn that off. Anyways, for the arrival, I'm going to go ahead and brief that once we get up to cruise. I do want to discuss, now that we're no longer in sterile cockpit, why I stepped away from MSFS for now. So I used to use X-Plane all the time in high school. Got Microsoft Flight Sim around the time I moved out to college when it came out, and yeah, I never really touched X-Plane after that. I do have to say though, Microsoft Flight Sim, it's a nice sim, I love it, but it runs poorly on my machine. I've got a 9-year-old computer that I've never upgraded, and I keep having issues, and it got to the point, these last few flights I tried to do in that citation that I was flying a lot, half the time the game freezes up on me as I'm like mid-landing. I mean, I landed at Andrews Air Force Base in that, touchdown, everything's great, game freezes for a second, next frame loads, and I'm sideways in the grass. I mean that's ridiculous. And then happened again back at Bedford when I was trying to land in a crosswind. I keep adjusting the settings, and I'll get it to the point like in those last videos where you're like, oh my god, this actually is playable, and then you realize, oh boy, the next update comes out and it just ruins everything. Anyways, my point is, it's really annoying trying to get Microsoft Flight Sim, and I don't think I'm going to really be able to play it much until I get a new computer. I am a broke CFI. I do not have the money to do that, and probably won't for the time being. So I decided to try X-Plane again, and I gotta say, it's not bad at all. I mean, I've got some planes that I loved. I loved this Saab back in the day, flew it all the time. I get back into it, and I'm like, it's really not bad. It flies well, arguably better than the Citation. I love that Citation. Oh my god, you could do anything with it, and it was pretty good for a default plane. But this thing, oh my god, every little thing. I mean, you saw the cabin, you could just walk around no problem. Anyways, so I love that. I've got some 7.3s and 7.5s that I haven't tried yet since I got back into it, but and for how much better performance I get in this compared to Microsoft Flight Sim, I think the graphics, the trade-off being the bad graphics is worth it. You know, and even this really isn't bad. It's not Microsoft Flight Sim, but it ain't bad. So anyways, that's my only argument there. I know this probably isn't going to get me as many views as Microsoft Flight Sim. That's okay. I'm just here to fly planes, shoot some approaches, practice some real-life flying skills. That's all this channel is about, and hopefully show you guys a thing or two for those who are trying to get into Flight Sim. I mean, really, anything I do here can be redone in Microsoft Flight Sim if you have a Saab 340 for it or something like that. So, anyways, that's my rambling on Microsoft Flight Sim completed for now. I just wanted to explain that, and yeah, I think I'm going to be doing some more X-Plane stuff for the time being. I'm even thinking of maybe doing a live stream in the future, because why not? And it might be fun, especially with a Saab. I mean, this thing, the flights in it are not very long, and you do have to actually fly and manage this thing. So, might do that, you know, like just some regional hops like what I'm doing here. I like the time frame of 2011. I like the when I was a kid just getting into aviation. I like the US Airways. I like the turboprop. So I say we stick with this for a little bit. Obviously, I'm not going to do all Saab 340 US Airways videos, but still. Anyways, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and start thinking about our arrival into LaGuardia. Here, I'll just do a very preliminary look here. So for LaGuardia, Nabi 5 arrival before. Let's look at the weather here. We got an altimeter of 2977. There is such a steep pressure gradient today for the lack of winds. I mean, departing Schenectady today, winds were smooth as glass. This afternoon when I flew back in, it was 3000 on the altimeter early this morning. We arrived back still very smooth, and it was like 2988, I think. I mean, I guess out here, like you saw, it was like gusting 25 out in Manchester, but usually it gets windy across the whole Northeast when we get pressure gradients like this. And now departing Manchester, 2966, over at LaGuardia, it's 2977. That's just, it's interesting. It's what you'd expect for windy conditions, but it's not that windy. I mean, 25 is not bad. Anyways, winds currently are out of 310 at Niner, so we'll still be taking runway 31. Don't listen to me. The arrival procedure for the Nabi 5 is going to put me Chester. I can get down to 4,000. We're not going to go that low, obviously. My only altitude restriction is I need to be at 8,000 by the time I hit Nabi. So, we'll figure that out as we get a little closer. We'll see what our ground speed looks like at cruise, and see how far out we'd have to descend. Alright, we are about to hit that 14, so we're currently 14 out from Pauline. When we're 10 miles out from Pauline and 30 out from Nabi, then we can go ahead and start our descent down to 8,000. According to my math, if I do a 1,500 foot per minute descent, that should work out in my favor. Anyways, I went ahead and preloaded the RNAV Yankee into runway 31 at LaGuardia. We'll go ahead and brief that as we get lower. Before I start my descent, by the way, I should do a descent checklist. Right, guys? Isn't that healthy? Alright, descent checklist. Your briefing, we're going to start this descent, aim for 1,500 feet per minute to hit 8,000 at Nobby. We'll do an approach briefing once we are actually about to hit the approach there. I've got the, I already forgot what my initial approach fix was. I believe it was Waspo. Loaded in and ready to go there into LaGuardia. Ice protection's all set, none required for right now. Cabin pressure, do need to set that landing elevation to 21 feet. So, you know, I'm just going to press this. 21 feet for that land-in altitude. Basically 0 is good. Flight instruments just need to be double-checked. Radios, we don't even need to program for this. There's 10 miles out. I'm going to go ahead and reset the... What the hell? No. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. There you go. Reset this to like the 165 and then hit IAS. And if I start to roll these throttles back nice and gently, it should go ahead and give me a 1,500 foot per minute descent. So if I bring these to flight idle, how's that going to work for me? We'll see in 1 second. Flight instruments, radio is good, and the CTOT, make sure that's at 90. I'm not going to engage it yet just because we are still going to be adjusting things. So yeah, there's 1,500. That worked out pretty well. Alright, descent checklist is complete. We're descending down. Should be at Nobby here in just a little bit. Ground speed's 176, so that'll work out well. Alright, we're getting ready here to pass 10,000 feet. Still on track, it looks like. Let's see, we're 2.5 minutes out at 1,000 feet per minute. Let's bring those throttles back just a little bit more to try to make Nobby there. And we're only doing a ground speed of 174, so alright, that'll work out. I'm going to turn the seatbelt sign on, landing light, wings on, and real soon we're going to go do this formal approach briefing. So we'll go ahead and switch to LaGuardia procedures. Now, I was taught today I was shooting some approaches on 172 with somebody who actually is a little bit more proficient with instruments than I am, and he taught me RIMTIM. So RIMTIM, R is for radios and weather, so the weather's winds are at 310 at 9er, altimeter 29er 77, and clear skies. Looks good there, so we're taking runway 32 today, or sorry, 31 today. The and of course radios, we're shooting an RNAV, so really not much in the way of radios today, are there? What we do have a fair amount of in the way of us today would be, well, the I is for identify, which again, we're not shooting a localizer, but we do have the M for minimum. So if I hit procedure, approach, ILS, or sorry, not ILS, the RNAV Yankee to runway 31, and if I pull this up here, you can see, again, we can get down to 4,000 before crawling, and then after that, it's 3,000 for dries, is the MEA, and then after Gemke, we can be 2,000 over Gemke, 1,700 for New York Jets, and then 1,200, the final approach fix, at Mantle, and then from there, our minimums are an LNAV, VNAV, DA of 618, or if we don't have that, if we only have the LNAV, we can do 640 for an MDA. T is for time in, not applicable, we're an RNAV. Oh, and there's that 8,000 there. I should probably focus on making sure that our plane is doing what it's supposed to. I see the overtemp, don't worry. Just give it a second. There you go. Yeah, you see I'm starting to get used to this plane now. And then after Nobby, we can probably start to, well, I mean, we've still got a little bit to go, so let's just stay here at 8 until Carmel, and then we'll start to bring it down to 4. I think that'll work out fine for me. Anyways, the time is not applicable. The last I is just for instruments, 2977 set, heading indicator set, and we already have this set to the GPS. Awesome. And of course, the last M is for mist. The mist approach will be to not exceed 220, which is okay. We can't do that anyways. Climb up to 700 runway heading, and then a right turn up to 2,000 direct to CPOG. And there's your approach briefing complete. I'll probably run through it one more time just as I'm activating it to make sure we're all on the same page. And we are good to go for the RNAV 3-1 into LaGuardia. For as much as I'd love to get cinematics of this, we gotta be sterile cockpit at this point. I mean, 5,000 feet now, but man, this is... I know it's not Microsoft Flight Sim, but I still love it. Anyways, there's just 1,000 to go. We'll stay at 4 until we're over Waspo. And then, let's see, from Waspo, Gemke is when we can start. After Waspo, we can bring it down to 3, and then Gemke will be 2. We just went ahead and passed Waspo. I'm starting another very slight descent down to 3 at this point. Altimeter is verified set 2977 and cross-checked. If I double-check the weather, yep, still latest weather here at LaGuardia is 2977. Checked, external lights verified are all on. Text lights not required. Cabin signs verified on. The HP valves are up here. They just need to be set to auto, which is fine. Awesome. Descent check, approach checklist complete. Next will be the pre-landing checklist. Getting down to 3 now. We'll have to stay at 3 all the way until we're over that Gemke point. By then, hopefully we'll have the glide slope. We'll see. Okay, we're just now about to cross Gemke. We'll see if we can get the glide slope by that point. If not, no big deal. We'll just step down to 2. Let's see, crossing now to Gemke. Still no glide unless it's supposed to just be that glide there. Is that what this is supposed to be? I mean, it is a GPS glide. Is it alive at all? Hard to tell. How far are we out? 1 minute out from Gemke? Okay. Let's go ahead and do a couple things here. Let's from Gemke, from Gemke. Let's go ahead and just get ready on this checklist. So things like the auto coercion should come on. I'm not going to arm CTOT yet, but I am going to go down to prop sync and turn that off. Verified my hydraulics are checked in green. That all looks great. Let's take a look here and see. Still no virtual glide. Okay, so for now, we might not get it until we actually intercept New York jets. That might be the case. So, all right, let's go ahead and bring this down to 2, and we'll say IAS mode. Start to chill out with the speed a bit. In fact, actually, I'm going to set this to IAS at 160 so we can get that first notch of flaps in. If it'll let me. Okay. Come on, there you go. Who's a good airplane? There you go. Let that slow down a little bit. About to be Gemke there, and then from Gemke we can get down to 1700. Their altitude we have to be at or above, so I'm not too worried. I mean, we've got 5 miles from Gemke to New York Jets, so we can probably be, we're probably fine at this altitude we're at right now. But I am still going to go ahead and bring that first notch of flaps in. And this can be set to 1700. And remember that missed approach is up to 700, then a climb and right turn up to 2000. And there's 30 seconds out from New York Jets. I'm going to go ahead and bring the gear down. And I know it's going to give me just a little more drag, but that's okay. We can deal with that. There's LaGuardia Airport right there. So we'll go ahead and just get ready for this to get down to 12. Let's see, are we ever going to get a glide here? Probably not. It is saying I have to be 17 or above. There you go, there's your glide. So approach mode activated. And if this actually captures, then we should be good. So landing checklist, gear down. I'm going to bring one more notch of flaps out. Yep, it captured the glide. Awesome possum. Landing signal given, gear down, verified 3 green. Hydraulics were checked, prop sync off, condition levers verified max. And flaps and de-icing boot yaw damper is going to go ahead and come on here momentarily. Great. So here we are inbound for runway 31 now at LaGuardia. I'm going to go ahead and just start bringing a little bit more flaps in, just one at a time. There's flaps to 20. And and our missed approach should be to 2,000 feet. Alright, I'll turn the taxi light on too, just to mess with people. There we go. Now it's starting to turn a little bit better onto a final approach. Start to slow it down here. Remember, minimums are 618, even though we're already got the runway in sight, so there's 400 to go. We're gonna go flaps full. There's 300. Flaps are full. Gear down, 3 green. Oh, seat-top, make sure you arm that. 100 to go. And there's the minimums. I'm going to take the airplane now. We're landing. And really all you got to do is just keep flying the flight director down here. Although at this point you do kind of need to get yourself aligned a little bit with this runway. Gear down, 3 green. This is going to work out very nicely. Deepen it coming down here. Eyes on the number 3-1 there. And start to just gently ease that power back. Nice and gentle. That will help slow you down as you pitch up more so you don't slam it all the way down into the runway. Alright, nice and easy. Easy does it. Easy does it. Easy does it. Easy does it. Hold this back. Hold this back. There you go. It's just a little off center line. Actually, very off center line. And we can... I'm not going to take that high speed. Let me just verify that my throttles are at ground idle, which they are. And we can take this high speed right here. Awesome. Yeah, that was a little off center line. Kind of sucked there, and probably threw the passengers around too as I tried to get back on center line. Oh well. Alright, once we get clear of here, let's go bring those flaps up. And just let it keep rolling off for now. Maybe just set it just one above ground idle, just so we can get off of here. Auto caution needs to come off. And then we can go ahead and turn once we're actually clear of this runway. We can go turn the strobes on. Sorry, the strobes off and landing lights off. Taxi lights already on. And go ahead and pull up an airport diagram here. We're off of runway 31 at whatever the hell this taxiway is. It says Tango's right next to us. We can just follow this basically, and let me bring this out of ground, back into ground idle. Alright, strobes, wings off. So Golf is right here. We can take Golf honestly, and it looks like our terminal should be right there. Perfect. After landing items. Gas lock, ice protection, auto caution's off, external lights set. The HP valves need to be closed. 1 and 1, and then go back here before I crash it. There you go. Differential pressure checked. Very slight differential pressure. Might have to change that in a second. Flaps are up. Transponder, it's fine how it is. Awesome. So I believe US Airways parked just around here somewhere. I think. I don't know. I was alive back then, but I wasn't a huge plane nerd back then, so I don't remember. And at this point, I'm just going to go ahead and pull in right here. And the way I shut this down is I kill that second engine first so they can just hook up the GPU. Then, once that's good, I can go ahead and... once that's good, I can go ahead, hook up the GPU, kill the first engine, and that should make life pretty easy. I'll turn the taxi light off, pull that second engine back. Come on, easy, easy. There you go. Just got to be nice and gentle with it. Maybe give that one remaining engine a little bit more power just to give me a boost here. There we go. That should be good. And I'll give it another 10 seconds. Come on, more power. There we go. That's going to work out very nicely. I'm going to bring that to ground idle, tap those brakes, and we're going to set that parking brake on. Yes, I know we've lost an engine. Isn't that crazy, guys? There's below 20%. I'm going to go ahead now and tell the guys. Well, first off, how does it look? Is it actually shutting down? Yes, it is. Okay, they can go ahead and hook up that GPU right now. And it'll take like 30 seconds for that GPU to come alive. In fact, actually, if you leave this on external, you can see, yeah, it's already alive. Awesome. External power, turn the gens off, and then kill this. And then you can turn that seatbelt sign off. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to LaGuardia. That should be it for the shutdown items. I guess I should review that just to make sure I'm not forgetting anything too stupid. Here, actually, how about this? You guys, go ahead and put the parking cones on. Why not? Alright, shutdown checklist. Parking brake set, engine anti-ice is off, external lights are already set. Once that gets below 20, we can go ahead and turn the beacon off. Avionics are all fine. Generators are just double checked. Seatbelt signs off. Air conditioning. I am going to go ahead and turn off the recirc fans while we're here. Yeah, I know we lost an engine. Isn't that crazy? Emergency lights need to come off. And oxygen batteries, dome light. I am going to turn the dome light on because it is going to get dark here pretty soon. And right around now we can turn that beacon light off. Alright, welcome to LaGuardia, everybody. I'm sure our passengers want to get out of here, so let's go ahead and let them out. Boom, boom, and there we go. Get that fresh New York City air. You all know how nice it is here. And we'll go ahead and open up that door. Beautiful. Say hi to the ground crew. Let our guys out. So yeah, that's going to be a good flight here from Manchester all the way to LaGuardia. We made it safely. Really nothing too crazy going on that flight. I do hope you enjoyed the video. I am going to have a part 2 that is going to be a night flight from here to the Ithaca airport. Again, this is a historically accurate route for Mesaba and US Airways during this time. We're going back in time to 2011 is the idea. So anyways, with that being said, welcome to New York City. Hope you did enjoy the flight and the video for that matter. If you did, go ahead and feel free to leave a like and watch that second part. And if you care enough, you can subscribe, but I'm not going to pressure you to do that. Thank you all very much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your evening. Take care, everybody.